Welcome back to the Warrior Code podcast, where we live by a code of strength, structure, faith, and purpose. Today we're diving into the 9th principle, the power of reflection. We've now walked through 8 powerful principles. Number 1, warrior identity. Number 2, faith is the foundation. Number 3, courage in action. Number 4, structure and discipline. Number 5, community connection. Number 6, purpose-driven living. Number 7, resiliency. Number 8, authentic leadership. And now we arrive at reflection, the doorway into alignment, correction, and elevation. For years, I thought I was doing the work. I read, I prayed, I produced. But then came the silence. And in that silence, I had to face myself. At some point, all the busyness stops. And when it does, you're left with one thing: you. That silence becomes a mirror. The voices rise up. The pain shows its face. And in your soul, that starts screaming. Yet you've suppressed the screams for so long, they are barely even whispers. You're not taking care of your body. You're disconnected from your wife. You're pretending everything's fine, but your soul is suffocating. Most men avoid that moment. They drown in more work or isolate completely. But reflection, it demands we wake up. Let me be clear. Back in 2009, when my brother, father, and mother passed on March 9th, I had already been selected and was training for the Best Ranger competition. I started that journey in January. When they passed, I flew home for the burials, then returned back to a group of men who were still training. They gave me a new Ranger buddy, and we pressed forward. Over 50 teams entered that year. Only 23 finished, and we finished 11th. From the outside, it looked like strength, discipline, excellence. But inside, I was just being a Ranger. There was no real spiritual depth, no inner alignment. I wasn't pretending to be connected to God. I wasn't even seeking Him yet. I was chasing perfection, trying to build a good life, posturing for the image of success, trying to be a good man with a good family. But all of it was performance. God would later reveal something deeper to me. That my version of being good was actually rooted in people-pleasing and conflict avoidance. That I wasn't performing for Him, I was performing for approval. And that truth, it didn't hit in a battlefield. It hit in the pews. Sitting in churches where the smiles were wide, but the healing was shallow. The words were right, but the spirit felt hollow. My soul could feel the fakeness, and it began to reject surface level faith. It began to cry out for something deeper. Even after I walked away from alcohol, even after I had structure and sobriety, I realized I was still performing. Only now I called it purpose. I had replaced chaos with control, the Bible in one hand, the calendar in the other, but inside I still wasn't fully present, still not fully connected. It wasn't until I entered the silence that I began to notice the mask, to see how deep the disconnection really went, and to hear what my soul had been trying to say all along. There was a season where, even though my wife and I stayed sexually active, we were disconnected. Not from rage or outbursts, but from silence, from shutdown, from inward spirals that we never voiced. Even after the outside looked clean, my soul still wasn't satisfied. I had convinced myself I was fine, that compared to most men, I was doing great. But comparison is the enemy of calling. And deep down, I knew I wasn't living truth. It wasn't until I slowed down, until I got quiet, until I entered the silence that I began to hear what my soul was saying. In that silence, I reflected, and in that reflection, I reconnected. Today, the intimacy I have with my wife, emotionally, spiritually, physically, is deeper than I ever imagined. Because it's not built on performance, it's built on presence. And brothers, this connection, this experience makes all of the work, all of the reflection, all of the implementation of God's insight, worth it. I promise you, brother, it's worth it. I want to share 4 core truths of reflection. Number 1, silence is sacred. You won't find clarity in chaos. Number 2, the mirror doesn't lie. You must be brave enough to look. Number 3, pain is a compass. What hurts reveals what needs healing. Number 4, reflection leads to resurrection. The false self dies so the true self can rise. Reflection is a weapon. It clears the fog. It shatters the lie. It reconnects you to your heart, to your wife, your mission, and to God. So ask yourself, where do you need to slow down? Where are you avoiding the silence? And what might God be trying to show you that you've been too busy to see? This is the power of reflection, and this is what it means to live by the warrior code. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and remember, you are a warrior.